What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed Monday's vlog, where I shared a few quick anecdotes about my experiences on a movie set. And just in case you missed the big announcement on Monday's vlog, I will reiterate it again. My brand new podcast that I did with my brother Dave, Shooting the Shit with Dave and Izzy, is available not only on our YouTube channel, which I will put a link in the description for uh, in this video, so you can go subscribe to the channel. But I will also tell you that it is available on to download and listen to at your leisure in audio form on Spotify and Anchor. And it'll be coming soon to other platforms. I promise you that. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast is going to be there. Promise you that. But man, I am excited. It took, yeah, man. I don't know why. I mean, how any of this is possible, man. All the warm reception I'm getting from these vlogs and just all the support and love. Uh, I I said it ad nauseum, and I will continue to say it to you guys. Thank you, because without you guys, none of this is possible. Like the podcast wouldn't have been possible. The Classic Chronicles wouldn't be possible. Classic Conversations wouldn't be possible. Just everything, man. And man, we're gonna continue to roll. So with that being said, man, let me just for today's vlog, it's gonna get a little emotional because I'm gonna talk about a very, very dear friend of mine. It's almost like a father figure to me and to those who knew him. Professor Matthew McGee, man. Oh my God. May he continue to rest in peace. It'll be 12 years this year since he left us on this earth, and he is the reason why I am so fond of Diet Pepsi. Uh, he was always a big Pepsi drinker. We'll get to that point in the story, but man, just let me take you back a little bit and recall the first time that I met Professor McGee. It was in April of 2006. I remember uh, we like I was still in high school, still deciding where to go to college. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer of some sort. I just didn't know what kind of lawyer and where I was gonna go to college. And I had already gotten accepted to St. John's University on a partial scholarship, and like I said, it was a partial scholarship, and tuition was like what 40 grand a year, and they were only covering 25 of it, and uh, you know that's 100 grand for 4 years, and I would have been in debt for the rest of my life had I gone with a decision to go to St. John's. And I remember him. Uh, we were at me. It was myself, my mom, and my para George at the time. We were at lunch at this local place, and he had gotten wind somehow that I wanted to go to John Jay. I think it was on my. I think I put it second on my list of schools next to St. John's. So Professor McGee had gotten wind of it, and he was trying to actively recruit me to go to John Jay. And so he came to where we were having lunch at. He sat down with me. We met, and he said, "Hey, I hear you wanted to become a lawyer." So I was like, "Yeah," and then he goes, "That is John Jay is the perfect place for that." And I've seen your SAT and Regent scores. Not to brag, but I was pretty. I'm kind of a nerd. I like Yeah, I'm very book smart. Don't get it twisted. I'm also very street smart, but I'm very book smart. I like to learn. Always like learning new things, and I'm a very big believer in the fact that you never stop learning. So, what do you call it? So he took a look at my SAT scores and my region scores, and he said, this is more than good enough to get you into John Jay. So I said, on a full scholarship, and I was like, wow. Thank you. And so he had given. Like I said, I was torn between St. John's and John Jay, but and shortly after that meeting, I took the campus tour at St. John's, and it just wasn't for me. So I ended up calling him about 2 weeks later and saying that I was interested in coming to John Jay, and he's like, okay, cool. So he's like, all right, I want you to enjoy your summer because I had graduated from high school in 2006. So he's like, enjoy your summer, but in the middle, like maybe in the first week of August, you need to come down here and I'm gonna give you a tour of the campus, see how you like it, and then you could decide from there. So I went down with my mom. We took the tour. I remember sitting in his office and he was trying to make one last aggressive pitch to sell me on going to John Jay, and I didn't think about it at the time. I didn't think about it at the time. I thought I wasn't gonna go to John Jay, but he ended up selling me, and I was and a couple of weeks later, I told him I was in, and the rest is history. I also shout out to Sion, my buddy, who was on that, who was also a part of that tour, who would end up becoming a very very big part of my time at John Jay, and one of my very very close friends that I still talk to this day. So shout out to you, Sion, man. Uh, Man, okay, so so what do you call it, man? First, fast forward, first couple of weeks in, I talked about the injury that I suffered. My first bout was cellulitis. I talked about that in an early vlog. And one thing I didn't say though was during that time that I was in the hospital recuperating, Professor McGee had came up and cheered me up, man, because I was feeling pretty down. I, I I wanted to be in school. First semester of college. I didn't want to miss that, man, and that was ripped away from me with the whole injury. But he came down there. He cheered me up. He said, don't worry about it. I got you. Just focus on getting better, and your schedule is all done. When you're ready to get back, let us know and we'll get you set. And he did my schedule for me, and man, I'll never forget that. He gave me and yeah, I've always love love to have Fridays off. So he gave me during my first couple of semesters at John Jay, always had Fridays off. It was sweet, man, and man, so that was really cool of Professor McGee, man. I didn't think he didn't have to do that for me. He didn't have to take time out of his schedule to come visit me and make sure I was straight. But that's the kind of man that he was. Very stand-up guy, man. He would give you the shirt off his back, literally, if you needed it. So that's why everybody, myself included, is so fond of him, man. Let's see another. Let's talk about something funny with Professor McGee. Okay, there was this time where this guy named Antonio, he had already graduated from John Jay, but he would always come back and always be in the differently able services office on the computer. and you know, and he used to Professor McGee used to mess with him by playing all kinds of pranks on him. So one time he had these chocolate covered ants, and and Tony was in the bathroom, and he had taken a a bucket of these chocolate covered ants, and dumped him in the stall where Antonio was, and then Antonio, this guy was just freaking out, but it was hilarious, man. He's like, "Oh my god, who the fuck did this?" Da, da, da." He's just and myself, Professor McGee, I think Sion was there. I'm not sure, but we are just fucking crying, almost in tears on the like knowing that we just pulled off a prank on him, and yeah, so that was Professor McGee, man. And oh man, now and then we had to take this. I remember shortly before he passed on, we had to take this test called the CPE. It was a test to make sure, a CUNY test to make sure that you were able to read and write, basically, because I guess a lot of people were passing, getting out of like the CUNY system without being able to properly, write a proper essay or read something at college level. So they give you this test in your sophomore year to make sure that you could do that. I I forgot what the passing score was, man, but I remember the first time I failed it, and then I was feeling pretty down about that because I like I know failure is a part of life, but I really don't like to fail. But So I remember talking to him about that. He's like, "Oh man, don't worry. Next semester you're gonna pass it." And this was in the fall of 2010. So we were. He's like, "Man, don't worry. Next semester you're gonna pass it, and then when you pass it, I'll take you out for a beer, and we'll go to lunch, and we'll just laugh about it, and you can move on and focus on the rest of your studies." And then, uh, you know, sadly, that wouldn't happen. Because he would pass away that fall. He would pass away like about a month, 2 months later, and due to cancer. His cancer had been in remission, but I remember this one particular day. He it was a really bad snowstorm outside, and I had to come into school because we had a final. I had a final in English, and English 101. And if you missed that final, or if you failed that final, no matter how good you did in the class, the professor had to fail you. It was a mandatory. It was a department, what we call a departmental final. So, like I said, you could have a 95 average in class, do all your homework, all your papers, everything, whatever is asked of you. But if you fail that departmental final, it's an automatic failure. Don't ask me why that happened, but that's how it just was. So it was a really bad snowstorm, like I said, and what do you call it? His cancer was in remission at the time, but he went out in that snowstorm to help me because I had gotten stuck at the Westport building. And he went out with no jacket, and a very short sleeve shirt, and his jeans, and boots that he used to wear. And I think that's what kind of contributed to everything. It was, oh man, I felt so, and I remember like the day that he passed. I wasn't in school that day because I had gotten sick, and I got the call from my brother Sion that he had passed, and man, I couldn't handle it, man. It was so tough. I remember shaking that, and almost dropped my cell phone and cracked it because like I can't believe that he passed on, man. And you know it's still tough to this day to kind of relive that, man. Professor McGee, man, just such a kind soul and stand-up guy, man. Jesus Christ, I'm getting a little choked up talking about it, but excuse. Oh man, shit, Professor McGee. And I remember the meeting his beautiful, going to his wake and meeting just his beautiful family. You know, his daughters and his his beautiful wife Shelly, and just it was truly a celebration of his life at a wake, and we were just exchanging stories. You know, like the one I just told you about the. About the about the ants and everything, and man, just it was such. I remember the getting back to school the next day, you know, after his passing, and just it was such a solemn day in the different labor services office. Like nobody was saying a word. It was like so quiet. You could just hear a pin drop, man. I was in shambles, man. And sure enough, the only bright spot to come out of that was that spring I took the CTE just thinking of him, and I passed it. Barely, but I passed it. You know, I probably would have done better if I was in a great mind state, but I had to take it. I took it with a heavy heart, and he got me through it, man. So thank you, Professor McGee, for getting me through that, and for all that you've done for me and everybody else. Also, shout out to Crystal Velasquez, man, and like my big sister. Man, I couldn't have gotten through college without you guys, and uh, Danielle Officer, and holy shit, just a bunch of people. But specifically, man, Professor McGee, and you know, at his because the school, John Jay had did a little tribute to him, and you know, some of his students spoke, and at the end we all stood on the stage at the Gerald Lynch Theater, and we had a Pepsi in our hand, and we all looked up to the heavens and took a swig, man, for him, because that was his favorite soda. Um, and he was a fan of Bugs Bunny. He used to always wear these Bugs Bunny ties. Man. So, Professor McGee, man, we love you. We miss you. Continue to sleep in peace, and I will see you on the other side, Matty. Oh, man. With that being said, man, that's gonna do it for this edition of the Classic Chronicles. I love you guys, you know, and like, you know, let me just say, let me leave you with this before we head out. You know, love. Don't take the people that you love for granted, man. Tell them you love them. Hold them tight, because tomorrow's never promised. You know, life is too short for petty stuff. You know, so if you got somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time, and you can't even remember why you started fighting, man, just pick up the phone and tell them you love them. Because, like I said, tomorrow's never promised. And with that, shout out to my friends, my inner circle: Crystal, Alex, Steve, Sam, Tiff, just everybody, man. I love you guys. Shout out to Gabby too. Love you, sweetheart. Man. So with that being said, like, subscribe, share, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.